Thank you so much for sharing your Wednesday night with me. I am JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, and I have some superstars with me. This is the Super Bowl of love. We're gonna kick it off, basically. We're gonna make some touchdowns. We're gonna get some field goals. We're gonna do all of that, and we're gonna dunk. Right? Wrong game, right?
Absolutely.
Terrence was like, how you gonna do that? Because it's all of that. Yes, indeed. But I really appreciate you all just sharing with me, because you all are, like, if we had a whole panel and it was a whole bunch of kids, I promise you all a grown folk panel. Because I wanted grown folk on here, because you can talk about dating, getting married, getting divorced, dating again, or going through, unfortunately, a death. And how do you regroup from when your spouse passes or you go through a divorce? And some people feel like divorce feels like death. But on the good side of it is that God gives us an opportunity to always begin again, to always move forward. And how do we do that? How do we approach things? So I approached our panelists with some questions that, are just a beginning for us, just somewhere for us to start. And I want to start with Dr. Janice Arundel on a question, and we're not going to allow her to answer from her textbooks, because I'm not going to tell you what her doctorate is in, but it has something to do with your state of mind.
Oh,
so, we're in trouble because she's analyzing all of us. But what? You're not? Okay, thank you.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so good to us. But what financial habits do let you know that, hey, this might not be a good person for me to date? And you don't have to give us all the details, because we'll go on to Terrence so he can tell us about what about women? Like, because, women, we think we got it going on. But there are some women with some bad financial habits too that let you know what? I might not want to do this. Yeah. So tell us, Dr. A.
It depends on how long you've been dating. Because from the very beginning, I don't think people want to discuss money right away.
Okay.
You might want to get to know each other first. If a person doesn't know you that well, and they first of all start to ask to borrow money, even though they don't know you very well, that can be a red flag.
So if they start like saying, "Hey, how much you make?"
Yeah.
I know. No, I know. I mean, it's crazy. It's unimaginable. The first time that somebody asked me that, like, how much did you make last year? I thought, I was like, that's really strange. Yeah. Yeah. But so I can, definitely I can imagine. So if they don't, so one thing that would turn you off about dating a person would be if they just asked about money too soon, or.
Right. For the very beginning, yeah.
They just got into, like,
you want to get to know the person, not necessarily what they do, not necessarily what they make. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good for you. So even from your perspective, you want to get to know the person, and then, so even if they started bragging about, what level they are, at the government, and, how long they've been there, to kind of let you know that they're making a lot, would that impress you?
Well, that may be how they define themselves, which to me would be a red flag.
That would be exactly. That they feel that that's their value. That's so sad. Mm-hmm. It depends on how much. I'm just joking. So what do you think, Terrence? What is the deal breaker for you when it comes to finances if you were approaching someone or has started dating someone or something like that?
See, I'm a little different because I was in the military, and you basically wear how much you make on your collar or your sleeve. So, and in the federal government, it's pretty much the same way, It's on public knowledge how much you make, and so it's not really a big secret like it would be on the commercial side. But I'm more or less turned off when, you know, the conversation is just about money, and either from their perspective, everything that they have, or where they live, or what they're driving. You know, those are turnoffs to me.
That's right.
I'm really not. I'd rather get to know the person. You don't need those things to be my friend.
That's what Dr. A was saying. You know, so you think that there are, have you ever met someone who talked to you about her car and stuff like that? Like,
well, no, I haven't, but
okay.
I've seen other men do that. And if they could drive their Porsche into a meeting, they would do that.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay. But
when they do silly things
that's
like
right.
drop their keys on the table, you know, oh, I dropped my, I mean, you know.
But what do women do to, like, say that they're materialistic? Like, what could be a thing that a woman does that says that, like, oh, she's materialistic?
Well, there's one thing for me, I'm sort of, if there's one thing being, you know, liking things that are of good quality. But I think when you put the emphasis on, you know, it has to be Gucci or Versace or, you know, things like that.
It has to be red bottoms and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. Those are the type of things. It's like, well, that's even though, you know, they could be important, I don't think they should be all the way at the top of the list. And that's what you're presenting yourself as, you know.
But my question is, what does that have to do with relationship?
That's right. That's what when people are like that, or just you really asking? Are you really?
No, as he's talking, I'm thinking, what if somebody's putting their car keys on to impress you or telling you what they drive? What does that have to do with relationship?
Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, it doesn't have one thing to do with a relationship.
Right.
That's more or less what makes it a red flag for me, because, you know, I'm leery of somebody whose thinking goes along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells you a lot, actually, about having a relationship with them.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Look, it tells you that they're going to be broke all the time because they have to find
Exactly.
Look, people that have an average job that do extraordinary things are a tower about to fall. You know,
right,
it's like you have this extreme, you have this extreme purse or shoes or clothes, but you have this average job. You know, so it's, that is a red flag. You know, just as with, women who pursue men that have an average job, but he has all of these things. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, do you realize what he must have to do? Do you know how much debt that requires to have that average job, and have, all of these bills,
right?
All of this stuff, unless he's 100 years old, you don't know anybody's position, but don't think just because people have things that, that they're ready for a relationship with you, or they can, they're ready, they want to take care of you. They think, oh, they have that, but they might be looking for someone to help them take care of that stuff. It's like, you're thinking, oh, I just want to get in. He's thinking, no, I want you to help me build. So build on that. But so that's thank you, very good points. So, Jenny, do you have anything you'd like to share?
No, I'm gonna just listen right now. I'll jump in, when something really.
Well, I'm definitely I'm glad you're here, because we are here for you. Mm-hmm. What about you, Miss Dickens?
Oh, well, not right now. I'll jump in.
Now I know, Miss Dickens, it's been a while, so I know you have something to tell me about now that after your husband passed those years ago, what you have to deal with in this.
Yes, my husband died, and 2005. So it took me a while to get back out on the dating scene. So I mean, I was actually afraid. Afraid is so different. And I had been married for 25 years. But I did start dating, and and it's been wonderful. And but I was leery, I was leery because through the years, I had saved up things, and you're just fearful of what's going on in the outside world. So you kind of protective of everything, don't want to discuss your finances at all with your partner, but hoping at the same time that he has finances.
Right.
So at some point, we were able to discuss it, but it's like you don't want to discuss your salary. You just have to sort of keep everything to yourself because you just don't know the other person what the intentions are. So once it took a while, but once you could actually see that things were going to work out, then we could just we could actually discuss things together. So I mean that was a good thing.
Did you ever do online dating? Have you ever done online?
Oh no, never did on online.
No.
No, but I mean, people have said good things about online dating. I've heard pros and cons with that, but I've never done that.
Would you ever do that, Dr. A? Online dating?
I've considered it, but I'm a little leery. I have to see you, meet you, and I don't date in isolation. Usually somebody that knows somebody that I know.
Oh, we got to see. You heard Miss Dickens. I'm still speechless. She said, "And wonderful." Wonderful.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Terrence? Oh my goodness. She caught me. I felt that in my gut. I thought, oh.
But it took time, though. It really took time.
Right? Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, so Dr. Hicks said, bingo, Terrence, preach. And then,
exactly.
And I see, oh, wow. Dr. Williams says that he can see everyone. I'm like, just checking my messages, right? Said, all you ladies.
Dr. Williams.
Oh, and Dr. Hicks said, all you ladies looking great. And he said, Terrence, you can go home now. I'm just joking. Would it be funny? You can go. We don't care. Nah.
I'm just a thorn amongst the roses.
You see, Dr. Hicks is married, so we have to hear Dr. Hicks and Dr. Williams and Andrew all on next week, and Maurice. I have some interesting data on, some of the benefits of making sure that we choose the right one.
Oh yeah.
There was an article that came out like the other week, and it said about 2 weeks ago, and it was just continued research on having a supportive spouse and how important that can be. So this dating part is so important because, ultimately, I think that we all want to be married. Is that true, Ms. Dickens?
No, I don't want to be married. Just companionship.
Look, she said that you just went from dating is wonderful.
It is.
She did say dating is wonderful.
It is.
She's having fun. JB,
right. That's right.
She's having fun.
There you go.
She's having fun. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
That's my girl.
Wow.
I just want to say that I look at you differently, Ms. Dickinson.
Who was?
Look, and I'm wondering, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff is going on, and you ain't even you don't even live in Virginia. Virginia is going to be known as the state of scandal. State of scandal. So do you want to? Well, I'm not going to ask. You know what? Matter of fact, I ain't asking none of y'all if y'all want to get married because that is like surprising me. So look, Terrence, you want to get married?
I want to get married.
That's so good.
I do want to get married. I don't, you know, I think there's some, you know, more pluses to being married. I'm from the old school of thought though, so I don't speak for everybody.
Right, right.
You know, but I mean that's an important thing because, you know, of the things that we were talking about, the perspective that you look at it from being dating and being married, they're two entirely different things.
That's right.
I mean, I know we all know that being married and dating are two different things, but the way that you look at finances from a dating perspective and a married perspective, you know, who's splitting the bills or, you know, who pays for what or, you know, just that whole financial honesty thing.
Amen. And that's what you have to get into your next step or into who you choose to marry. You know, look, I just got asked. I just got engaged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got engaged. Look, the ring came flying by.
Oh.
Speaking of wanting to get married, right? Look.
Yes.
So that's
keep it up to your face like this, JB.
I know, right?
Yep, you see it.
I know. It's like, hey, everybody! I'm gonna record this now. I know. Right? Exactly.
Wonderful. I'm happy for you.
But you know, definitely that I can totally. I have been single so long, you know, that it is you know, that this dating part, when I thought about it, like it's just so important and we take it for granted. And I want to take, you know, just the discussions of what we're talking about and how we can use this in making that honest decision. Are you about marriage? Because I know that honestly, when I first met my fiance, I wasn't thinking about, you know what I mean, marriage. I told him, I was like, nah, I don't really think, you know, that hurts too much, you know. And then over the years and participating actively in my own healing process, you know, and him having the patience for us. So there might be a couple years and Ms. Dickens is saying, I'm getting married, you know what I'm saying? Like, is this true? And you feel like, so we have like so many stages, don't we? And that we, you know, so I always say now, I say never.
Right.
Because as long as we're alive, we are changing. You know, and Denzel Washington's father walk up in here, you be like, oh no. You'd be like, Carolyn, I've been looking for you all my life. Come spend your life with me and watch my son's movies. You know, you never know. Let's look at the next question. Anybody from the panel, anybody in the attendees, y'all have over 30 people looking at y'all just in the webinar.
Wow.
And the and it's also on Facebook. Adelia, please tell me if anybody asked. Oh, Rhonda said, you go, girl. Rhonda, you want to come in? Congrats. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pastor Andrew. Thank you. Thank you. I thank God for you. I thank you. Thank you. All your prayers and love over the years have really helped me. Thanks, Dr. Hicks. All right. So I'll have another question for our panelists. If you have any questions for the panelists, please let me know. In addition, we have like 5 people on the call in. So we have a lot of people tonight. We're looking at over 40 people.
Wow.
This is actively participating, but we're going to change the world. This is about love. When is it time to ask about your loved one's financial goals? And we just kind of talked about that. So I want to look at this next one. How do you decide who pays for what?
Now that's a good one.
Yeah.
How do you decide who pays for what? Miss Love to Date Dickens.
Okay.
How do you decide?
Well, what we do, we kind of split it half and half. You know, that's a fair, fair way to do it when we both have incomes, and we're able to do that basically, so that one's not overwhelmed with the expenses. Since both of us are together, we split everything in half.
No, I'm not gonna say nothing. Wait a minute, I'm gonna say nothing. Terrence.
Well, I think it goes. It's not that it's chivalrous to do those things. It's not like in the line of chivalry or anything, but I don't know. Just the way I was brought up, I'm not thinking about it from financial. I'm paying for this. I'm paying for that. Trying to get control. It's just I feel like that's something that I should do if I'm taking you out.
That's
or
right.
We're going out. I just think that's
that's so nice.
One of the things that I would do. Now wait a minute. The other thing too is when I come to your house and you're throwing together a dinner or something like that, you're not gonna ask me to pay for half.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So
that's right.
It's right. Sort of like it all works itself out. I think. And
a lot of people, and a lot of people don't realize that. They really don't. But everything that a person does, you know what I'm saying, is still giving, not just when you go out.
Right.
Yeah, and that's so true. What you think, Dr. Ed? How do you know?
It depends on whether two people involved are traditionalists or not. Like Terrence obviously is a traditionalist. For him, he probably does not mind paying. There are some people who are not traditionalists who would look at, let's go Dutch and in the beginning till we decide that we're going to continue to date. Because sometimes the first couple of dates, you're not really sure. You're just kind of getting to know each other. I think it's okay if it's agreed upon that each person pay their own way.
Right.
But, as if you do have a male that's traditional, then I think it's only fair that the person would cook dinner, or something,
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like
it should not be one side. It should never be one side.
No, Dr. A, I like what you said about the traditionalists and non-traditionalists, but I mean, I know this doesn't have anything to do with money, but I mean, if we're together in your house and we hear a noise at the door, I'm not gonna say it's your turn to go investigate.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's not what I meant.
That's right.
No, that's not what I meant. No,
I know you did.
No, he's just saying that there's certain things he feels like certain things a man should do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, JB.
Right.
Yeah,
no offense, Dr. A.
No, and I'm not. I understand. I'm happy to hear that, there's still days like that. You don't hear that too much, especially among young people. You don't hear that too much anymore.
She thinks you young, Terrence.
We'll take care of that later.
That's what you think now, Ms. Dickens?
No, well, I'm pretty much the feeling when I say split half and half, I mean one time when we go out, I'll cover, and then the next time he covers. So that's how we alternate. We alternate just so that everything is not on one person, and that works for us. And I'm talking about the bills. We split the bills in half, the household bills.
That's right.
That's pretty much what I'm talking about in terms of splitting in half.
Oh, that's so good. That's right.
That is good.
And
you know what else, JB? What happens a lot is somebody might get the bill and the other person will get the tip.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes.
That's right. My thing is, I feel like, Jenny, wait a minute. I'm not going to say nothing until Jenny Jones. What you want to say, Jenny?
I just want to say Miss Dickinson have gone beyond dating. They have a real relationship.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Oh,
They're not dating.
Right.
That's true. That's
right.
But I think, as you get grown, wow, it is.
Absolutely.
It's much more real for us.
Absolutely.
that word. It's so true. But I was thinking, I feel like that first beginning period that I really feel like a traditionalist. I feel like that every I feel like in a perfect world for me is that every man would be really sweet and always pay for her at least like the first 5 dates. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even like make her feel like you want her to take it out of her wallet. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I want to do this. So that at the point where she does start paying, it's bursting. Like, she's like, no, I just got to do something for you. You know? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And you didn't have any, but yeah. And I think that that is still beautiful. But I think that a lot of people just don't do that. Like there are some men out there that just feel like she makes as much as I do, or whatever. So they turn it into that she should pay as well. But I do believe that that where you put your position, in a relationship, like always is, if it ever goes into a relationship, like if you put yourself as I'm responsible, I want to take care, I want to provide for you, I want, these things are important to me, know that that's where she's going to see you though forever. So I guess that's why some people are like, no, it might be important for her to know that we're going to have to both, contribute to this. So maybe I should just let her, or encourage her to be a team player from day one. Or him or her, because some people will, like if you do that, then the woman might not ever feel like she should help. So it's and I guess that could be, but the question is like where, how do we decide who pays, for what? I feel like one thing is that if you ask for it, then you should pay for it. Like if you come up with the idea, then you should pay for it. I don't think that anybody should come up with an idea for me that I have to pay for half of. You go, oh, let's go see the game. I feel like you should buy both tickets.
Right. It's your idea.
Right.
And if I said, let's go see the game, I feel like I should buy both tickets because it was my idea.
I agree with that entirely.
Right.
So, that's what I was wondering, if you're talking about dating etiquette, that's one thing. If you're talking about, major purchases or household bills or things like that, that's something of another nature entirely.
True. Because then you're right. That's almost like all the way to the marriage part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I do feel like the dating would be things like, and this is a key question. If you find out that you're dating, you fell in love, and the person has bad credit, would you continue to date them? Like, you're headed towards like he's going to ask you, or she wants to get married. You're in that zone where it's like, so would you continue to date, or would you date at all someone if you knew they had bad credit? Like you met them and they said, well, yeah, I'm riding the bus because my credit's so bad. I can't get a car right now. So like, would you continue to date them? Would you date them at all, Dr. Arundel?
Well, it depends on what brought them to that point of credit, if whether they're willing to share.
They said it was a divorce. I went through a divorce and it ruined my credit.
Okay, what do they want to improve their credit?
They want to. They want to improve their credit.
Are they interested in improving their credit? Because sometimes it's not necessarily their fault, but do they want to improve? If it's someone who is comfortable with their credit being where it is and has no goal to improve it, well, that would be a red flag.
That would be a red flag. Yes.
That's right. I don't think I would date anybody with bad credit. Like I would see it like I would see it like they don't keep their commitments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's the way we should see it. And especially if they went through a divorce, if it was like due to a disability or illness, but due to a divorce, they have, you really don't have to. If you manage it right, you know what I'm saying? That did not have to happen. And so if you move forward with the person that ruined their credit, because of the divorce, that's why, bill collectors will ask, or you're trying to finance them, they'll ask, why did this happen? But it doesn't really matter to them.
No, it doesn't.
So, and I'm saying this like before you fall in love with the person, what I'm saying? So if you put that as a criteria, because you have to realize how many years it takes to improve your credit. Are you going to are you ready to put in 5 years, sometimes 7 years to stop you from, and you want to buy stuff together, and that becomes an issue. So it's like, if we, while dating, set up criteria that will stop us from making, some major financial mistakes, and if that information was given to you, but definitely before people get married, they should know each other's credit, and so that would still fall
because
over.
It's affecting the other person at the time of marriage. It's going to affect someone else, definitely.
It's going to affect you as the spouse a great deal, and
Very
then
much so.
oh yeah, and if they have a tax liability, or it can be anything you need to know. Because so many people go into financial situations blindly. And then they go, I didn't know. That doesn't count. It's too late. You love this person. It's got to be gone. So I'm talking about before the emotion gets involved. Once you're into what to do to guard your heart, as the word says. It's a guard your heart. Like, what can you do so that you do this before you have this criteria? But if you wait and you love this person, you shouldn't even ask. At that point, you've been dating for like 2 years, and this, it's like, you're in it. You're in too deep. So how do you protect yourself?
But isn't that basically the same as you saying how much money you make if you're asking them about their credit?
Well, the credit, according to the industries that use the algorithm, they use the credit. They're talking about, are you a deceptive person? Will you do things and not, are you irresponsible? Like, your credit can be seen as all those things. It tells you that they're more likely statistically, to have an illness, because they've been stressing, they've been going through it. It tells you, it's scary how much it really can tell you about a person. But the driving report too of a person, life insurance companies use people's driving record, to judge their mortality. A person who's had a DUI is more likely to die a sudden, have a shorter mortality. Isn't that something? They think, because people think it's like the medicine and stuff like that, but no, you're because you're more likely to take risk and things like that. So there's a lot of habits that we have that tell us more about ourselves than we think. Or at least if we're in a position where we're trying to judge, you're like, oh, do I want to, well, what's going on, and what's going on with that person. But the wow, that just took all the love out of it, right? No. I'm sorry.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but but we have to be wise about that. Like, what is your perspective on that, Terrence, about do you think that we should be dating differently when you get over 40 than you did when you're younger? Like, what would be different criteria? Yeah. And Dr. A is going to follow up.
Well, I mean, to me, it's not, it's almost like, and I thought about this earlier, and it's not just the age that you are, it's the perception, societal perception at the time. Like, I think, and I'm not an expert in, how women think or anything like that, but I do know that the times that we're living in now, women are like super liberated and you know, with the Me Too stuff, and they, you know, they really want to assert their independence. And from my perspective, sometimes I don't know if it's safe to open a door for them.
That's
you know
really
what I mean,
sad.
or to you know, say good morning to them. It's like, you know, because times have changed, and even though I'm an old school type of guy, it just might not work in 2019.
Or you might say you look nice and she thinks it's sexual harassment.
Exactly.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really scary.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, so
really
that whole thing has
Isn't that sad?
changed. I'm sorry, Dr. A.
No, I'm saying that's sad that we're in a time like that when good men feel like they're afraid to say anything, because you may have a traditional woman who's waiting for the male to say something, and he doesn't. She'll assume he's not interested.
Yeah.
So, and then people, you know, we already have a problem with communication, generally speaking. It's just making it a little harder. You know, it's like just now, it's difficult to have a conversation about money. You know, that's a challenging conversation as it is.
Yeah.
Like Maurice said, a low credit score and irresponsibility are two different things. You can rebuild your score, but irresponsibility is an attitude that may not change. Then they will never rebuild their score, Maurice.
This is it. That's why
you know what I'm saying. It's like we're not talking about, like, you know, the young person that did it at 22 or 23, but we're talking about the grown folk that they, you know, have it at an older age, and they can't rebuild their score unless they become very responsible and sacrifice a whole lot. That they don't waste time. And then Marty says, don't waste time and money if the differences are too big. But Rhonda says, in some churches, a part of the marriage counseling is a requirement to share financial reports. Definitely.
I think that's a good idea.
We have two members that are marriage counselors at a church in Maryland, and they do that. They always check the credit report. Daryl Jordan says, Daryl, you ready to come in on the panel? It shouldn't be just one person doing all the planning. I was looking for Daryl. And Andrew, who's married, said, I was brought up in a world where men pay, but I always appreciate her volunteering to pick up the check on occasion. I know that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. True.
I'm for that.
Yes, indeed. Right. And then,
for that.
So
when I was married, I sometimes took my husband out.
Right. And
hey, JB, you know what? I've left my wallet at home a few times.
Good for you. That's when you really were like, goodness gracious, is she ever going to pay?
No, it wasn't that. I mean, I literally forgot my wallet.
Oh, okay.
I left it at work or something.
Oh, okay.
And, you know,
red flag.
I was lucky enough to have
You're responsible. He'll never change. But didn't it feel good that when she paid, that she didn't make you feel like I'm doing you the biggest favor in all the world?
No. She had my back.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Yes.
Yeah, I have to wash dishes.
That's right.
He didn't have to wash dishes.
Right.
Yeah, that worked out.
I honestly, to me, like, there's nothing more precious to me than for a meal to be prepared, because, I mean, I feel like I'm getting better food, you know what I mean? That I'm, just getting better quality, and that, and to give me something that I can't.
Right.
Because thank God I can take myself to the finest restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But at the end of a weekend, and I, accomplished everything I needed to do. That's just nothing, greater than, a man that, my man, let me correct, because he's like listening out there, that, cooking, a meal, that's a blessing. And it's not really appreciated a lot, as much as it should. But
JB, what was that comment Rhonda just made?
What did Rhonda say? Where'd she go? Rhonda, some men cannot cook, so please don't. Ooh, I think she was talking to Mr. Brown.
Rhonda, it's about the effort. It's about the effort.
Right? I think she's talking about Terrence. I've run across a lot of people. This is Dr. Williams. I've run around a lot of people who've never taught financial responsibilities and do not recognize the need to improve their credit. Yeah. A lot of schools are teaching students about financial management that, and it's true that schools are teaching, but at the same time, we're bombarded with this materialistic, society. So I do think that we should, really look at the habits, of the person while you're dating. Like I'm a person that exercises a lot, so if you date somebody and they're drinking and smoking all the time, how long is that going to last, right? So how about their habits, Dr. A? Do you think that's important?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you both have the same goals, if you both, as you said, working out is a good thing, because when you have two people working out, when they go to a restaurant, they're going to make similar choices because they're thinking about health.
Right. Yes.
That tells you a lot.
Yes, indeed.
You are having similar goals. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. And then what about like if you smoke but they don't smoke? Like is that important?
That's a deal breaker for me because I can't stand to be around smoke.
So you would not. So if they have a habit, they have a bad habit. Like if you have a bad habit, do you want them to tolerate it? Like, would you want them to tolerate it?
I think we could talk about it, but see, I think again, smoking has to do with your health. That affects secondary smoke is sometimes worse than.
And it can kill you, and it'll cost. And it'll cost you, so much more for everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you fall in love, marry someone who smokes, you need to plan ahead that,
yeah.
that if they die the way, a lot of people that smoke die, it's going to be a really bad death, so, but that is real.
Life is affected, everything.
Yes. And it affects us. If they smoke and you're the one dating them, it's going to be on you. And it is amazing how many Black women are smoking now. Mm. And then what about gambling? It is a known, it has been researched that is a huge challenge, for Terrence, would you date a woman that gambles with her money? Goes to Maryland Live every weekend.
Oh, there's more types of gambling than Maryland Live. She could lose the same amount of money on stocks, So.
Oh, whatever. You better tell her she better join AfroEconomics.
No,
but I guess it is possible, but not probable what she'd be doing. Yeah, but let's see. You never know.
That's just like a indicator of like having a addictive type personality.
Yes. Absolutely.
If you cannot control your urge to gamble and you're gonna, risk your mortgage or whatever money you're saving on something frivolous as that, that would I would.
But the research shows, Terrence, that women of color are at grave risk for gambling, disorders, overuse. I mean, I bet if you went into Maryland Live right now, they would probably have more Black women, than Black men.
Yeah, right. But that's what I was just saying, JB. I mean, I used to see it where I work, women standing in line just to play the
lotto and stuff.
Yeah, every day on a daily basis. And when I say numbers, I can tolerate a couple of scratch-offs.
Yeah.
But when you show up and it's going to take you at least 30 minutes to put in all of your numbers.
No, but that's,
and you pull out $200 or something, you have a problem.
Yes. I mean, that's real. And that's when you're coming out of your potential future household. So these are like fabulous topics. Y'all have been great. Our participants are still hanging in here. I mean, make sure Maurice said don't marry. I don't know what that was about. It just said don't marry. It was probably about some sins he'll be mad.
Oh, he said a smoker.
Oh, look, he said smoker. Don't marry a smoker. Yeah. We know that's what you meant. Next week, we're going to be talking to couples. I hope that Maurice will participate so we can get him, right? But Terrence, thank you. Dr. Enridell, thank you. You are now officially about to be approached by major organizations about being on CNN, NBC, Fox News, MSNBC, all of them, Ms. Dickens, are going to contact you. They saw you on AfroEconomics with J.B. Bryan. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Next time they want to know about dating, they're calling my panelists.
Yeah, good idea.
Yes, indeed. Because y'all know everything. Everything. And this is everything. If anybody ever wants to know anything about dating and love, they know right now. Dating and finances, it's done. The answers are here. Any closing words for the woman who loves dating, Ms. Dickens?
No, just make sure you check all the important areas, finances, the addictions specifically, and take your time.
Oh, there was like this meme that was talking about, like, finding a man and then he had no home, you know what I'm saying? He had nowhere to live. They were talking about, so you're right, check on them evictions. Look, and there's also, have you seen the one by Bob Marley? He says when it says basically that they'll wait for you. If you're amazing, they'll wait. You know what I'm saying? And that don't rush anything. Take your time. If it don't feel right, don't do it. That's right. We have to be careful. There's some crazy stuff on television now.
Right. Trust your intuition.
For men and women. You know what I'm saying? People are, just look at the brother now. 25 years old, the lieutenant governor, and now him, something that he got into at 25 on a date. And then now it's still, coming up. So, and I pray to God that somehow something good comes out of that for him, because it's horrible to see, her life get disturbed like this and his life get disturbed like this. This is horrible. And
JB for lieutenant governor.
Oh no, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? No.
I second that.
Oh, that's
I bet.
right. I'm the lieutenant governor of AfroEconomics. I'm not. Yeah, I'm here to serve y'all. I'm serve the people, all right? I serve y'all. My
Do we have
people.
time for a question?
Huh?
Do we have time for what? Now,
What question?
if you're approaching marriage, how do you feel about a prenup?
Oh, who are you asking? She's trying to get up in my business. Are you trying to get up? Is she trying to get up in my business?
Somebody might want me to.
No, exactly. She has a professional question. You know that in reality, I think that word prenup is used too loosely, because the average person that is getting married needs to just sit down with an attorney and have the instructions on how they want things to be done if something happens to them, during the marriage, especially if they're going into it with children, they need to make sure that they have a legal designation of how they want, even if the marriage ends in whatever, or, this is the way it's going to go. So, just be prepared. I don't think, that it's really easy to actually think that you can write up a legal document that says if this person messes around on me, then, you know, because they're, you know, then they don't get anything because they committed adultery. You know, first of all, you're going to have to put all that effort into proving that they committed adultery and spend all those resources and following them around and this and that, you know, so it's, you know, basically write down with the lawyer exactly how you want things to be handled during the time that it is great, but thinking about, you know, what you want to leave behind. And I think a lot of times people think about what's going to happen while they're living, you know, that, oh, if they mess around on me. But what most importantly is think about, like, if you die, how you want everything to be handled. Think about the best case scenario and set up your beneficiaries on your product, insurance policies, and everything according to, you know, what you specifically have to have done, you know. And then if you feel the need after that to have some sort of, you know, prenuptial type document that says if we, you know, break up and this and that, but it's, those things are already going to be done, because if the marriage doesn't really last that long, they're not going to be able to get anything, you know, from you because they weren't there to accumulate it. But the I think that you should go into it, you know, realizing that your goal is to share everything with each other. That you know, that's just my, you know, opinion. I don't think you should marry anybody that you don't want to share everything with. You're in the wrong, you know, but it's different when you're talking about each other's children.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can protect the children, you know, everybody will understand that you want to make sure that your children and both, you know, that have things, but in a, you know, perfect world, if it's just, you know, or in a world where there's only these two people, you know, they, you know, if you don't, you know, trust them or you don't feel confident about it, don't do it. I think the best marriages are the people who are all in.
Yeah.
But I think you want to put a clause in there about when you're in your right mind, and if you're no longer in your right mind, when you think about B. Smith.
B. Smith, yes, that's what I was thinking of.
She would have, if she had thought about it, would have put a clause in there, if I'm not in my right mind, such and such should maintain.
Yeah, and I guess she kind of did that in her medical directive.
Oh, did she?
It's part of your will, but she might not have even had like a plan on how to pass on the business. Mm-hmm. But if she was married to the husband that she started the business with, you know, then they would already know. Like, you can't, like, even if you're married to someone, you start a business and you think that that person is not going to have, you know, impact on that business and its demise, you know, you're kidding yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, but if you were like, I mean, look at the guy over Amazon. He's about to give like, you know, $60 billion or something, billions. Like 60 billion, it's like a huge, I don't know, it's like 60, I don't know. It's a whole lot of money, like billions he has to give, he's going to give to his wife to get a divorce. She's been there since the beginning.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, it depends. And then seeing the value in what the other person, you know, does. But I don't know if she would really want to, you know, change it. It's just sad when you lose your right mind and then, you know, say the person doesn't take care of you well and they put you in a state facility, you know, and don't use the money that you've been taking, you know, you have for yourself. That's sad. But as long as you're crazy enough not to know about it, I guess it wouldn't matter. Look, if you're not in your right mind, it really doesn't matter. You know, you don't know. So look, don't worry about me. As long as I don't know, it won't hurt me. Y'all be all upset. Look at Don. He put JB in the closet. I'll be all right. If I don't know, he can put me in the closet. You better just make sure I don't know. Like, she doesn't know she's in the closet. That's not funny. But like, that's right. Ms. Dickens, you cool?
I'm fine.
You all right with your complicated actual question? Mm-hmm. That's right. But the always choose money over love. Always choose money. I mean, always choose love over money. That was funny.
Oh,
Terrence was like, yo.
that was a Freudian slip.
Always choose
Right,
love over money.
right.
Because look, because it's like, you know, if you are in love with each other, it, you know, and I mean, I'm just saying again, in the perfect world, the true love will last. If it's not, and it's over money, you'll give up. And you'll end up splitting up the money, and you'll have less than what you ever had. You know, because divorce is expensive. So a single person is better off than a divorced person, typically. But a married person tends to have 4 times the wealth of a single person, married couple. And one of the two still has twice that of a single person on average. But divorce can really be financially devastating.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a serious thing about, you know, dating, is that, you know, where you headed to. And I think that's why a lot of people, you know, are afraid. That's why I spent so many years afraid of marriage. So it's real. Thank you all for keeping it real.
Thank you,
We outlasted some people.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Hanging in there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Rhonda
thank you,
hung in there. Michelle was in there. Keith was in there. Kathy was in there. Dr. Hicks was in there. Barry, Demetrius was in there. Barbara, the Banks house. Yes, indeed. And everybody on the phone. And then we lost like a whole lot of people. Thank you to everybody on social media as well. I appreciate it. And Maurice enjoyed it. And that's all you can ask for. If a married person enjoyed a discussion by single people, then we got it going on.
Yeah.
So make sure you hang out with me next week. We're going to talk to the married folk about family finances and how they stop each other from wringing each other's neck.
That should be fun.
Yes. I love y'all.
Okay.
Now,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.